Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons.
Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
Hey there, Rulers. DMO73 here, bringing you the deck profile for the Red-Black Melgis list that you saw played earlier this week. This was initially designed by Cole O'Brien of Rogues Guild, so a lot of fun here. It's pretty standard mid-range. It's not trying to super burst out Melgis very quickly. It has that potential, but ultimately we're trying to go for like a turn 4 or 5 lethal with like reanimating stuff and making use of like Shock D and the kind of reach that the deck can get because of it. So obviously our ruler is Melgis. We're not really going to talk about that. You're mainly going to be using the modes to pick 7 for the 7/1 and get a stranger, or judgmenting for free on the turn you need to. Playing 4 Guinevere the Jealous Queen for some draw power, as well as getting stuff to the graveyard to make use of March of the Dead, which we can use to reanimate very easily. You also have the 4 Percivals, which is great for this version of the deck because it can burn face. So like the longer it sits on board, you just swing 2. If your opponent commits a block to it, then you just banish it to hit your opponent for 2 anyway, and they wasted a block. Otherwise, you just kind of swing and continually hit them for chip damage, which is better than I thought it was going to be. Couple of copies of Lancelot. I don't actually really like this card very much right now, just because there are better cards that I'd rather play in the 2-drop slot, but we are playing 2 just for the sake of the list. 4 Shakti, the Red Eyes Swordmaster, to be able to make clones of all of our sword arts, as well as naturally having swiftness. It's just kind of a better Lancelot as long as we have Leviton on board, because she gains swiftness, which is great. 2 Look of Corruption, because there are just some matchups where hitting a turn 1 Look of Corruption just gives you a lot of value, especially when you're playing against Regalia decks. If you can steal their turn 2 or turn 1 Energized Regalia, you can just kind of generate a ton of value off of it. 4 Opening the Red Eyes. I think this card honestly comes down to 3 or 2 copies. There's a lot of instant speed removal in the format that just gets played in response to this card, but I do think that it has the potential to just allow you to win the game very quickly if you find that opening. 2 copies of Regalia Break, because it's a sword art, so it's easy to make use of, and with Shakti we can kind of clone it, so turn 1 copy into 2 copies and draw 2 cards, which is nice. 4 copies of Awakening the Flame King, great as a way to cheat in Shakti at end of your opponent's turn, or to be able to burn your opponent for 16 damage because she clones it with that mode. Lots of cool things you can do there. 2 Scalding Breath, just for some additional reach, and then 4 copies of Bloody Break and 4 copies of Leviton, pretty standard in any kind of Melgis build. Stone deck wise, you're playing 4 copies Scorched Bales, 4 Adoraktia's Memoria, and then 2 Firestone, because we always want to be able to play a turn 1 Fire Source. And then our Stranger list is 2 Shades, 2 Azazels, 2 Azazel the Blazing Charger, 2 Red Wizard, 2 Regulus, and then 1 each of Cuchulainn and Barbados. You don't really want to see Barbados as much as you can help it, unless you're absolutely ready to go and trying to push for lethal, but it is a thing that you probably, if you can get it out of your way early with a Bloody Break and bring it to your hand, it can give you a lot of value in the late game when you just need to kind of chip through and finish things off. But that is the list. A huge thanks to Cole for giving us the list. Hope you guys liked seeing it. Let us know what your takes on Melgis have been. I'm really curious to see how people have been playing it. But until next time, this is GMO73 saying class dismissed.